Please end this is the time. Right now the country is ready for this, country's emotion is ready for this. This is the time to deal with all of them, all of them. This is the time. I'm saying when I said dismantle the infrastructure, I'm meaning just this, all of them. It doesn't matter who they are. The reports carry the dead. If so many people died, you will report that so many people died. Do you have a way of reporting people suffering? Do you want to create one more situation like that? This has happened to us, never again we should make the same mistake. And we don't want such an incident to happen once again ever in our country. So if somebody thinks they want to do it, we must deal with them. What are we waiting for? I don't want to go down as a generation which was stupid, which did not know what to do to make this nation tick. I want to die in such a way that as a generation we did the right things and we took the country to the right place. Let everybody understand this. Now there is a possibility, we don't want some fool to hijack this, so we must act for solution. As per the law, they shouldn't be walking the street, all right? They are not only walking the street, they are hogging the limelight. Please end this is the time. Right now the country is ready for this, country's emotion is ready for this. This is the time to deal with all of them, all of them. Because this is not about retribution, this is about ensuring that the possibility, the threshold of possibility upon which we are sitting, that we could solve the problems of poverty and bring well-being to this nation and the people of this nation who had such a bad deal for last 10, 15 generations, they've lived in poverty. Now there is a possibility, we don't want some fool to hijack this, so we must act for solution. This is the time. I'm saying when I said dismantle the infrastructure, I'm meaning just this, all of them. It doesn't matter who they are. Well, many years ago, General Musharraf said, next time there is a war, it'll happen within your borders, not at the border. He said that. Well, he said it with a certain understanding and a certain knowledge about certain things. Now, when people have come up and openly said we want to break the country, we must decide, all of us, do we want to break the country? We have broken it once and never again we're going to break it, because when we broke it, we killed over 1 million people and over 15 million people were displaced. Many of them after 70 years still not settled. And we know what pain. See, the reports carry the dead. If so many people died, you will report that so many people died. Do you have a way of reporting people suffering? Do you have a way of reporting people suffering? Those millions of people who were looted, raped and lost their children and wives and husbands, and they came in such desperate this way and that way, both sides I'm saying. Do you want to create one more situation like that? I am not talking about geographic integrity, I am talking about human suffering. We have seen that suffering. Unfortunately, it's not well recorded, nobody has bothered to write enough about it, nobody has bothered to make enough movies about it, nobody has brought it alive for this generation that this has happened to us, never again we should make the same mistake. So openly in the capital city, when somebody says, "Tukade, tukade," what are you going around doing all kinds of nuances of law? Please do what you have to do. Democracy is to make the nation function, not to dismantle the nation. Democracy is not made to dismantle a nation. If anybody has such an understanding, let them correct themselves now. Because democracy is about a graceful change of power, essentially. That without bloodbath, you can change power, which never happened in human history, only after democratic process came, this is happening. So democracy does not mean you have the right to dismantle a nation. We don't want to break the country once again. We have done it once, we have seen the suffering, what it has done, and we don't want such an incident to happen once again ever in our country. So if somebody thinks they want to do it, we must deal with them. What are we waiting for? Their agenda is not even for the well-being of the nation. When such a thing is there, if we don't deal with it, we are not peaceful people, we're just naive and stupid, that's all it is. I don't want to go down as a generation which was stupid, which did not know what to do to make this nation tick. I want to die in such a way that as a generation we did the right things and we took the country to the right place. Let everybody understand this. An enormous amount of human suffering we've unleashed with two tukudas we did. No more tukudai. Anybody who talks about that should not exist in this country, or they can be in state hospitality.
What if everything you thought you knew about Kashmir, about the India-Pakistan conflict, about terror attacks like Pahalgam, was only part of the story? What if the truth, the whole truth, was buried beneath the decades of history, politics and propaganda? Tonight, we dive deep not just into the headlines of the Pahalgam terror attack, but into the shadows that have shaped this conflict for over 70 years. And along the way, we will meet unlikely voices from spiritual leaders like Sadhguru, the powerful politicians like Narendra Modi and Shehbaz Sharif, who are all playing roles in this complex drama. This is a story of pain, of power, of secrets, and maybe of hope. The Kashmir conflict is often described in simple terms: two countries, one disputed region, centuries of tension. But it's much more, a history tangled with colonialism, partition, wars, and political betrayal. In 1947, British India was divided, creating two nations, India and Pakistan. Kashmir, a princely state then ruled by Maharaja Hari Singh, became the epicenter of the deadly tug of war. The Maharaja initially wanted to remain independent, but soon tribal militias from Pakistan invaded. Hari Singh signed the controversial instrument of accession to India, sparking the First Indo-Pak War. The United Nations stepped in, calling a plebiscite that never happened, leaving Kashmir divided and disputed to this day. Since then, Kashmir was been a powder keg with multiple wars, insurgencies, and countless lives are lost. Here's what rarely said out loud: the conflict is not just about territory, it's about identity, religion, and the scars of colonial borders drawn without regard for people. And at the heart of this, the people of Kashmir have been the silent sufferers, caught between nationalism, terror, and political games. Experts like Dr. Ayesha Jalal, a renowned historian, argue that Kashmir has been a forgotten conflict, overshadowed by nationalistic agendas. She writes that Pakistan's early support for Kashmiri insurgents was also a response to India's political integration policies, which many Kashmiris saw as oppressive. On the other side, Indian strategists emphasize Kashmir's strategic importance, not just for national pride, but for security against hostile neighbors. Fast forward to today, and Kashmir remains a battlefield, but the rules have changed. The Pahalgam terror attack is a chilling reminder. On March 13, 2025, a militant struck with brutal precision, killing civilians and security forces alike. The attack was claimed by a group linked to Pakistan-based terror organization. But experts warn there is more beneath the surface. Recent investigations suggest some local militant factions operate with complex motives, sometimes even with facet support from the local political actors. It's a messy web where loyalties shift and the lines between freedom fighters and terrorists blur. The political response was shift. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemned the attack in his national address, vowing to root out terrorism. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif condemned the violence too, but also accused India of human rights abuses in Kashmir. On social media, the conversation exploded. #Pahalgam attack trended with calls for justice and peace. But there was also misinformation, conspiracy theories, and heated exchanges between supporters on both sides. One viral post read, "Terrorism will never break Kashmir's spirit." Another warned, "This attack is a distraction from peace talks." But there is a hidden truth few are talking about. The Pahalgam attack came just days after secret Bacchanal talks between India and Pakistan were reported. Talk aimed at reducing tension. Was the attack a deliberate act to sabotage peace? A message from headlines opposed to dialogue? It's a question worth asking because every terror incident here does not just kill, it rewrites the political narrative. Analysts like Colonel Anil Gupta, a retired Indian Army officer, explain the terror attack in Kashmir often serve multiple purposes: disputing peace efforts, polarizing public opinion, and justifying military crackdowns. Similarly, Pakistani strategists see proxy groups as leverage in negotiations. This strategic violence, what some call state-sponsored terrorism, keeps the conflict alive and stalls any lasting peace. But there is another angle. Let's discuss, but just as crucial, the rise of voices like Sadhguru. Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev, known for his spiritual teachings, recently spoke publicly about Kashmir. He urged both India and Pakistan to look beyond politics, to heal the wounds with compassion and dialogue. This stance shocked many, especially right-wing critics who saw it as a naive or even dangerous. But his message resonates with ordinary Kashmiris, people who are tired of violence and want peace. In a widely shared speech, Sadhguru said, "Violence beats violence. We must break the cycle, not by force, but by understanding." On Twitter, thousands praised his words, while others dismissed them as idealistic. But beyond the noise, his voice represents a powerful undercurrent, one that challenges the status quo. Now, what about Narendra Modi's role? Since 2014, Modi has taken a hard stance on Kashmir, abolishing Article 370 in 2019, which granted special status to the region. Supporters argue this move integrates Kashmir fully into India, promoting development and unity. Critics say it alienates Kashmiris, fuel resentment, and sparks more unrest. The Pahalgam attack was a brutal reminder of the fragile reality on the ground. Yet Modi's government insists security is paramount, counting counter-terrorism operations aggressively. This tension reflects a broader pattern. Every major political shift in Kashmir has been met with violence. From the 1989 insurgency to the 2008 Amarnath land protest to the Pulwama attack in 2019, each event deepens divide and hardens position, and the international communities watches, often with frustration and limited influence. But behind the geopolitics are real people. Take, for example, Amina, a young woman from Pahalgam who lost her brother in the attack. She waited. "I don't want to be a victim of this endless conflict. I want peace for my family, for my home." Stories like hers remind us this is not just a political chess game. It is a human tragedy. International relations experts highlight that Kashmir's future depends on more than just India and Pakistan. China's growing role in the region, through projects like the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, adds another layer of complexity. Newly classified documents reveal that during the Cold War, both the US and USSR covertly supported different factions in Kashmir, turning the region into a proxy battleground decades ago. And insider sources suggest that intelligence agencies from both countries sometimes manipulate militant groups that serve strategic interest. So there is a harsh reality that conflict is not just about Kashmiris, India or Pakistan. It's about a triangled web of local, regional and global players. Terror attacks like Pahalgam serves as a weapon in these larger games, and the voices that call for peace often drowned by the loudest guns. This is why we have to listen carefully, look deeper and ask who profit from this endless cycle. Despite the darkness, there is hope. Peace activists on the sides risk their lives every day, organizing dialogue and pushing for reconciliation. Sadhguru's message, controversial as it may be, calls us to look beyond the violence, to see the humanity in each other. The question remains, will the world hear it, or will history keep repeating itself? Now it's your turn. Don't just watch from the sidelines. Speak up, research, question the narrative fed to you. Because the future of Kashmir, the future of peace in South Asia, depends on people like you who refuse to accept easy answers. Share this video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more truth-seeking journeys like this. Together we can shine a light on the shadows and maybe, just maybe, change the story.